Hello everybody, I'm Brother Neuro. Whenever you think of YouTubers who make video essays offering some critical analysis of a film or a TV show, you probably think of some very high-minded intellectual with a well-spoken soft voice who uses very big words that you don't really often understand and occasionally have to pause the video to look up, narrating a very nitpicky deconstruction of some artsy-fartsy beard-stroking production. Well, I can assure you this will not be one of those videos. Because when you think about it, it's actually very easy to write some deep, thoughtful, critical analysis of something when you know that it already has some deep, thoughtful, philosophical meaning or even allegorical quality to it. It's actually much more challenging to try and do that with the kind of TV shows that we would like to refer to as, let's say, guilty pleasures, more commonly known as trash TV. We all have our guilty pleasures when it comes to television. Some of us may not like to admit it because deep down we feel there's something shameful or undignified about taking great pleasure and joy in something that probably has little to no intellectual artistic merit. Well, fortunately folks, my name's Dick Coughlin, which means I was born without the capacity to feel shame or dignity. So in this video I would like to pay homage to one of my all-time favourite TV shows, Kitchen Nightmares, specifically the US version of the show. Now, I am a huge Gordon Ramsay fanboy and have been since the late 90s when he first started making a name for himself as a world-class swearing enthusiast and the new gold standard when it came to being a loud, abusive bastard. Most people at some point have worked for an unreasonable boss, I'm sure we can all agree there, someone who constantly treated us like shit, but Gordon Ramsay seemed to take it to a whole new level. He made the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket look like Mr. Rogers, and everyone at the time, in the media and beyond, was talking about him. When he first came about, and this may be difficult to believe now, there was a huge campaign within the media to demonise Gordon Ramsay for the way he used to treat his staff. But funnily enough, the one group of people who defended him at the time were people who, like myself, had actually trained as and worked in professional kitchens and worked with actual chefs, because we knew, unlike everyone else, that Gordon Ramsay was the first ever TV chef who was an honest portrayal of what professional chefs are usually like. Gordon Ramsay wasn't trying to be a likeable, cuddly TV personality, because ultimately what he cared about, and still does, was cooking. He was passionate about food, and in my opinion this is why, despite the press demonising him, his popularity grew. Because at the end of the day, people love watching someone who is A, genuine, B, passionate, and C, good at what they do. And Gordon Ramsay was and still is all of these three things. His first appearance on television was a show called Boiling Point, which ran for 2 seasons in the late 90s, and followed Ramsay on his quest to acquire his 3rd Michelin star, an ambition that he would actually fail to fulfill throughout the course of the show. Then, in 2004, Channel 4 would air the first episode of the TV show that would put Gordon Ramsay on the map internationally and catapult him into the realm of a global superstar, Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. The premise of the show was simple. Gordon Ramsay would turn up at a failing restaurant and he would have 1 week to try and turn it around. One of the things that made the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares so popular was how simple and realistic it was, which was rare at that time considering this was the boom period of the so-called reality TV era, which at the time everyone knew that reality TV meant it was anything but. It also did a great job of showcasing that Gordon Ramsay wasn't just this abusive, shouty monster he'd been made out to be or painted as. He was a genuinely brilliant chef and restaurateur who wanted to see these places and the people who run them succeed. The show was such a huge success that eventually the inevitable happened and it was picked up by the Fox network in America, and in September 2007 we got the first glimpse of the US version of Kitchen Nightmares, and it was about as USA as it could possibly be. Rather than stick to the simple realism of the UK version, Fox did what they do best, turned it up to 11 and Americanised the fuck out of the show. Gone was the straightforward straightforward, no-nonsense presentation, and in came the over-the-top melodrama, ridiculous over-editing, and the constant background and sound effects. Also, out were the believable, sympathetic and relatable characters who owned and worked in these restaurants, and in came the most pretentious, obnoxious, annoying and ludicrous cartoonish arseholes you've ever seen in your life. And if you thought Gordon Ramsay was an angry, abusive bastard before, then US Kitchen Nightmares showed us that we hadn't seen nothing yet. It's very easy to accuse Gordon Ramsay of deliberately over-exaggerating his character and playing up to the cameras because that's what the people at home expected, and that might very well be true, but in his defence, I think he found it very easy to lose his goddamn mind considering how intolerably fucking stupid and delusional most of the restaurant owners were. All that said, please don't think any of the things I'm saying here are negatives or criticisms of the US versions of the show, because they're not. They're actually the very reasons that I love it and I cannot stop watching the fucking thing. Yes, I know, it's the epitome and the embodiment of literally everything that is wrong with American reality TV. I know that it looks and sounds like it was edited by a baboon with ADHD at the peak of a crack cocaine addiction, and yes, I know there isn't a single second of it that is even slightly believable, but I don't care because it's fucking awesome. And as I'm about to show you now, like all good addictive trash TV, every single episode is exactly the same. Allow me to show you. Opening shot, Gordon Ramsay, arms crossed, looking like a badass. Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares, unnecessary epic music.
Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares. Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares. Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares.
Every intro then proceeds to have the narrator tell you that tonight's episode contains the most of certain types of intolerable characteristics within the owners than you've ever seen before in your life ever.
Tonight, Chef Ramsay faces the most deluded owners he's ever met. It's one of the most shocking and filthiest restaurants Chef Ramsay has ever seen. The most pretentious owner he's ever met.
Cut to the owners of the restaurant sat there explaining to you that there is absolutely no explanation as to why their restaurant is failing because their food is great and everything's awesome.
I think it's a beautiful restaurant. I think our menu is creative and the food is good. I don't know what's wrong.
I don't really know why we don't do any business.
Food is not the problem here. It's either the atmosphere, the ambience, or the service.
My food is the best food that's possibly made.
Cut to other clips of the staff members who have to work under this fucking deluded moron, explaining to you quite obviously why this place is failing, because it's a shithole, the food tastes like shit, and this person is a cunt.
I ask myself all the time, why do I even stay here?
I've been telling Pete for years we need to change things, but he doesn't listen.
I know how business is supposed to be run, and this is not the way.
Gordon Ramsay arrives and decides to sit down and talk to the clinically insane, deluded owners of this restaurant, who proceed to tell them that their food is 10 out of 10 and that there's no explanation apart from the fact that their staff are all complete bastards as to why they are $147 trillion in debt.
My food is good. My food is very good.
How would you rate it out of 10, Nina?
10.
A 10? Wow.
Yes.
When does the menu change? Every 3 months? Every 6 months?
No, more like 8 months to a year.
8 months to a year?
Once a year.
Once a year. And when was the last big change?
2.5 years ago.
So you work as a chef?
I am self-taught by old-school Europeans, master chefs that had a liking to me.
Gordon Ramsay proceeds to patronise this arsehole and then sit down for a meal pretending that he's not about to play Russian roulette with his bowels.
What's that smell? Can you smell something?
No.
A real interesting decor, yeah. It's almost like a sort of garage sale. Someone PP on my menu?
Gordon Ramsay meets the waitress, who is young or old or middle-aged, it doesn't matter, because he's going to proceed to flirt with them and they're going to get all very giggly and dampened and moistened for the Ramsay.
Come here, you.
Hello.
Have you just been to a party or?
No, I just got all dressed up just for you today.
Oh, so you don't dress like that normally?
No, I do dress like this normally.
Oh, you do dress like that normally?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Chef Ramsay.
You must be...
I'm Rosario.
Rosario, nice to see you.
Can I give you a hug and a kiss? I'm Italian. That's what we do.
Every single time, the menu is too big.
The menu's huge, right?
The menu is huge. The last I counted, there was 126 things on there.
It's a small restaurant. The menus are huge. Wow, huge menu.
Or it's got pictures.
It looks ghastly. Get the out of there.
Or it's got spelling errors.
One meat
bullshit.
You don't spell peppers like that either.
Is that a spelling mistake on there? Egg, plant, as in two separate words?
Or sometimes it's just borderline incomprehensible.
What we have is 20 different combinations of marinades, toppings, and seasonings. What you do is you choose one and then you add it to either chicken, portobello mushroom, New York strip, or shrimp. Angus ribeye, prime cut, that's cut for Sebastian's. You can have one of these combinations with an entree, with chips and gravy on the side if you'd like, with one of our side salads.
I can really see his face. He's sitting there explaining the menu, and Chef Gordon looks like his head's gonna explode.
Gordon then asks, is the food fresh?
All this is fresh, right? Yes. They're fresh.
Out of those 3 fish, which one was fresh?
The owner will tell him, yes, all our food is fresh.
Yes, everything else is fresh. If it's not fresh, we don't sell it.
Yes, it is.
Say fresh fish. On the board it says fresh catch of the day.
This always turns out to be complete bollocks, and everything in the entire place is frozen, including the cheese and butter.
Okay, so it's not fresh. That's what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
They are frozen.
Frozen.
What does catch of the day mean?
Fresh fish.
Catch of the frozen freezer? We have fresh fish.
No, we don't know.
Gordon takes one mouthful of each and every dish that he orders, tries very hard not to puke his arsehole up, immediately sends it back, and the owner or chef acts in complete disbelief that Ramsay is sending this food back and telling them that everything's wrong with it.
Bland, greasy, no seasoning.
Fish is dreadful. Yeah,
You are, yeah?
the fish was cooked properly. It was fresh.
Yeah, it's mush.
Tastes excellent to me.
Disgusting.
The crab smells like fish, like it shouldn't if it's fresh.
It comes from the fish, sea tell him.
Oh my God.
Dripping in grease. The oil, the grease coming out of that.
He said the pizza was doughy on the inside and greasy.
It is doughy, look.
Really?
I agree with him too.
Are you kidding me? I don't know what the chef is talking about.
Disgusting.
Chef Ramsay destroy every dish I offer him. He insulted me. I don't care who you are, Ramsay or no Ramsay.
Danny, where's the kitchen?
When you insult me, better be ready to explain yourself.
Having seen Gordon Ramsay send everything back, it's at this point that the owner suddenly decides that Gordon Ramsay is a complete arsehole who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and they hope he dies in a fucking car crash.
I was basically kicked in the face. To me, that shows ignorance and a lack of respect. I truly have no respect for the man and his awards. They mean nothing to me at this point.
People say, well, he's a 5-star Michelin chef. Okay, so he's got 4 tires and a spare. Kiss my It means nothing to me.
Every time he had a comment or a criticism, it's pretty ridiculous. I've been here for 20 years. I had to have done something right. Maybe he's not the answer.
Sometimes it's very common for them to argue that because he's Britain/Scottish/English or whatever the fuck they think he is, that there's no way he could possibly know about the cuisine that they are serving.
Here's a guy from Scotland. You know about lasagna.
I think Chef Ramsay's problem is that he hasn't tasted a classic pizza before. Damn, it's good. He's tasted all this fancy stuff, you know.
I have been eating elk for 30 years. Do you have it on your menu?
Seasonally.
You explained to me what the game season is.
So it's when
Okay.
game is at its absolute best.
This is back in Scotland?
No.
This is where?
New York.
New York.
Yeah, New York.
After his meal, Gordon goes to the kitchen, tells the chef and the owner that their food is literally worse than Auschwitz, as is the decor, and that they're all a bunch of Rainbow Bus warriors.
I'm absolutely disgusted. Honestly, I'm depressed. I'm not going to say this in front of your staff. Go ahead. You're a joke.
What the big problem is with you, Eric, you've accepted it. In your opinion only.
Everything to you, but we had diners eating all lunch, full dining room, but nothing's sent back.
It's an absolute matter of taste. A lot of people enjoy the things that we cook.
You want to see what comes back? Our elk does not come back. People seem to enjoy it.
Nobody else complained about it? There's nobody else in the restaurant.
He's in denial.
I can't stop being in denial!
You are in denial.
Either you're in denial,
or you don't care.
You are so in denial. You need therapy.
Gordon then fucks off to go and have a McDonald's and a wank before he comes back for the evening to see how their service runs. He comes back that evening to discover that the restaurant is extremely busy tonight because everyone in the town has heard that Gordon Ramsay is at the restaurant, which of course makes these people the dumbest people in the entire fucking show, because why would you go to the fucking restaurant that Gordon Ramsay is filming Kitchen Nightmares on the first fucking night? Well, actually, the reason is because these motherfuckers want to get on TV by acting all pretentious about it, because suddenly each and every one of the customers is Egon fucking Rone.
Even I can talk better than that. That's horrible.
That's getting mad. Getting real mad.
Calm down. Calm down. It's gonna be okay.
And the disappointment combined with the long wait is too much for one customer to bear.
I'm really gonna cry.
Boys, that's gotta go bad. He's afraid of pink, sorry.
Now I got 2 paper plates around some sort of big meatball.
How do you run out of potatoes?
It's at this point Gordon sneaks out in the back and decides to go and look in the fucking fridge.
Molasses.
Molasses?
Yeah, that's been in there since Thanksgiving.
What? It's July.
Why are you taking my product?
They're
and you're
moulding
away?
you.
Why is mayonnaise that colour? What's the date on this? 27th of February 2010. Expired 3 years ago.
I have never seen that. Ever. And I want to know, what the hell are you doing?
Something must have spilled.
Something must have spilt. Can you stop bullshitting?
At this stage, the only thing Gordon Ramsay hasn't found in some of these fridges is jars of their own human shit and decapitated dead prostitutes' bodies. Most of the fridges are in such a horrific state that quite frankly it's at this point you realise Gordon Ramsay doesn't need to do this fucking show. Your mum could do it. In fact, you could fucking do it. I could do it. I'm sat there eating 3-day-old microwave pizza in my underpants, cussing this fucker out because he's fucking frozen the shellfish. It's generally around this time that finally, after 3 days of shouting and screaming and shouting, Gordon finally breaks the will of the stubborn owners and they realise what a useless sack of shit they are, and they break down in tears and decide that they finally should start listening to this guy, this 14-star Michelin chef who they invited in to get his advice, and start doing what he says.
You have to change. Immediately. And I trust you. I need your help. Let's get together.
It's hard to hear that what you've done is a failure.
Are you committed?
I am.
You are.
I am.
As soon as they decide to start going along with Ramsay, it's at this point that the music suddenly changes and becomes something more uplifting, and let's be honest, this is the point when most Kitchen Nightmares fans turn off and decide this is the end of the show when it's not going to be as entertaining from now on in. But just for completion, what happens next is Gordon Ramsay gets in his team who redecorates the entire place from head to toe for free in one night.
Chef Ramsay gives this restaurant its first facelift in over half a century. Take off your blindfolds.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is so incredible.
They then have their relaunch night, which more often than not goes well with 1 or 2 minor hiccups, but other than that, it's pretty much perfect. And hey ho, everything's fucking fixed.
Because this place is going to be busy.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Take care of your mum. Okay?
Yes. Chef?
Okay. What a big man. Thank you. Darling, come here, you. Take care.
God bless you.
God bless you. Good night.
And 2 months later, the place is shut down. All in all, every episode of Kitchen Nightmares is an inspiring story of one of the world's greatest chefs going to this absolute shite restaurant, shouting at everyone, crushing their spirit before redesigning the decor and the menu, renaming the place, and before bringing in all his staff to make sure everything goes well, basically moulding it in his own image, only before leaving it, only for it ultimately to go bankrupt and for everything to be completely meaningless. And I fucking love it. My name's Brother Neuro. Thank you for watching. Good night. May God be blessed.
Hello, my name's Nino.